Talk to Charles Barkley here in a moment. We talked a little bit about Draymond Green. He's done it again. This is what it sounded like last night.
Fields has picked up his third foul. And now Green runs over Nurkic, and he'll be called for the foul. And they're going to take a look at this. See Jason Goebel indicating they will go to the monitor here. Nurkic is down in a heap. Green just plows right over Nurkic. Boy, that is a swipe across the face.
After video review, Green makes unnecessary and excessive contact to the face. The foul has been upgraded to a flagrant foul penalty 2, and Green has been ejected from the game.
All right. That's courtesy of TNT. It's bringing Charles Barkley, the Hall of Famer. Also, check out King Charles with Gayle King, Wednesdays at 10 Eastern on CNN, a 1-hour talk show with the co-host. All right, Chuck, here we are with Draymond Green yet again. What do the Golden State Warriors do? What's their role in this? Because it feels like the commissioner can suspend him, and it doesn't matter.
You know, one of my favorite people in the world is Herm Edwards. He's one of the great men, not great coaches, one of the great men I ever met. And he would say, hey, you know what? The NFL is not going to do anything to you. But you know what? My job is not just to win football game. My job is to teach you to be a grown-ass man. He says, I'm going to suspend you. I think the Golden State Warriors, you know, because Adam doing something really doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But when your boss says, hey, you know what? It's time for us to sit you down because, you know, you just lose money when the league suspends you. I think you need to be embarrassed when your boss says, hey, you know what? You're hurting the team. I'm going to do something to you. So I think it's up to the Golden State Warriors to say, hey, you know what, Draymond? You've been great for this organization, you've been great for the team, but you're not worth the effort. You know, we tired of dealing with this BS. So I think the Warriors need to step in and say, hey, even before Adam does anything today, because he's going to get suspended. If the Warriors came out and said, hey, can we handle this situation? I think that would be the right thing to do, Dan, personally.
Yeah, but I don't know if you say, all right, we're going to suspend you for 10 games. I don't think Draymond can be embarrassed. And I think that's part of the problem, that you cost your team, with the suspension in the NBA Finals, the number of times, like 20% of the games I think he's been thrown out of this year. I mean, he's become an embarrassment for the NBA. Maybe the Golden State Warriors go, hey, he's a necessary evil here.
Not anymore. It's a necessary evil when you're winning, not when you're losing. And he's frustrated because he can't play the way he used to play. That's probably what as a player, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, man. Because I'm not saying this because I like Draymond. Everybody likes Draymond. But Dan, I started doing stupid stuff when I couldn't play anymore. It was very frustrating. My last 2 years with the Rockets, I sucked as a player. I actually hit Othello Harrington. Nobody knows about it. Othello Harrington, I hit him in practice because he was working so hard and there was nothing I could do about it. So I threw him down. And Rudy Tomjanovich, who I really respect, says, we're gonna vote and you're not gonna play. And I was humiliated, but it was because I couldn't play anymore. So I was playing dirty. I see the same thing with Draymond. He's not the same player, and he's frustrated. But one thing about you have to go old gracefully because he's accomplished a lot in this game. But when you can't play anymore, it's very frustrating. And that's what you see now from him. That's what I see as a player.
And they let him talk after the game. I would think if you got kicked out of a game that they wouldn't have you on the podium. But, I mean, he loves the attention.
Yeah, but Dan, I'm going to tell you something. I noticed something he does, and you can just tell. He always says, I'm not going to apologize for anything. That's his go-to response. I'm like, nah, dude, because he said the same thing last time he was suspended. He said, well, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to apologize. He said the exact same thing last night. I'm like, yeah, that's a flaw, bruh. You letting people down. It's all right to say. One of the biggest problems with celebrities today, Dan, not just Draymond, they're afraid to say, hey, you know what? I really screwed up. It's my fault. They have their handlers like write these stupid statements and things like that. I tell them, I say, it's all right to say, hey, you know what? I was wrong. But nobody wants to do that. Draymond needs to say, you know what? Last time I got suspended, I was wrong. I was wrong for what I did tonight. And I don't know if he has the pride. He needs to say it. Hey, you know what? I was wrong and I let my team down again. That's what he needs to say. None of that, hey, I'm not going to change. I'm who I am, what I am. No, that doesn't work anymore because you're not the same player. You know, Bill Cowher, somebody I really admire. We were talking about Chip Kelly one day when he cut all his good players and he got traded to the when he took over for the Eagles. And Bill Cowher, somebody who called me, he says, hey, you know Chip Kelly? I said, no, I never met Chip Kelly. He says, tell him, quit cutting all his good players because he don't like them. This is not like college where you can just roll another 2-star, 3-star out there. He says, sometimes your players are assholes. You just have to deal with them. I mean, Bill Cowher, I'm telling you, I love Bill Cowher, but he said, he called me out of the blue. And I mean, I know him, but he called me out of the blue. He says, please tell Chip Kelly, this is the pros. This is not college. You can't, even though you don't like a guy, you put up with a guy. Because he cut Deshaun Jackson, he cut LaShawn McCoy because he didn't like him. He said, tell him this is not Oregon. You don't have to like your players. He did. He said, you don't have to like your players, but you have to deal with assholes when you're coaching today. It was really a funny conversation.
We're talking to Charles Barkley, the Hall of Famer. You can check out King Charles with Gayle King Wednesday nights at 10 Eastern on CNN. But I think the Golden State Warriors are culpable in this. They're complicit. Because if I go back to the Jordan Poole moment, when Draymond punches him, nobody rushes to Draymond and like, what are you doing? Like, they didn't do anything. They all just kind of like meander like this. Maybe, Jordan Poole had it coming or Draymond does this kind of stuff. And they kept him. And then they got, eventually got rid of Jordan Poole. And I'm sure he's emboldened by that.
Well, I think what happens, Dan, you see it all the time in sports. Everybody always amazed and shocked. I always laugh. I said, man, shut the hell up. I says, if you're a good player or a great player, you can get away with murder. And nobody says anything as long as you're winning. The problem what's happening with Draymond now is they're not winning anymore. Yeah. But Dan, when you win, players can get away with anything. I'm amazed when the public be all, oh, I'm outraged. I'm like, why are you outraged? When you're winning, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. But like I say, the problem with Draymond now is they're not winning. That team's not any good. But, there's nothing they can really do because they're stuck with him. I think he signed a 4-year extension. And so he's going to be there no matter what.
Yeah. Last night, the Joker got thrown out on Serbia night, the Bulls game. Yeah. In the second quarter, he gets tossed. So you're throwing out. I guess there's magic words that you use that it's going to be automatic that you're going to. Yeah, I mean, and don't use those words here. But are there automatic words if you say that you will get a technical? You may get tossed.
That's a great question. I'm not sure. I've been tossed a few times, but I think only twice I got tossed when I wasn't intentionally trying to get tossed, to be honest with you. So I just kept pushing when I was trying to get tossed. But I don't think there's no magic words. But Joker had to say something bad to get tossed on Serbia night. Or the ref, I don't think, because, he's such a great kid and a great player. I'd be curious exactly what he said. I'd be curious if he cursed him out in Serbian or English, because if you curse him out in Serbian, the ref probably had no idea what he said. So I'd be curious to know exactly what Joker said to get tossed on Serbia night.
Did you play against players who might have said things to you in a different language? You had no idea what they were saying to you?
Another great question. I don't remember coach cursing me out. I mean, I don't remember a player saying anything crazy to me in a foreign language, but I probably would have laughed even if I thought it was vulgar. But no, I don't remember any player cursing me out in a foreign language, but that would have been flat out hilarious.
I think you were thrown out of 16 games.
That's it?
Well, it's not exactly your Rasheed Wallace here.
But because I know I had I'm way up on the technicals list. I'm way up on the technicals list. But so 16, but I probably 14 of those I deliberately tried to get tossed.
But
Or
did you
sometimes
get fined or tossed when you pulled down Shaq when you guys were having that altercation? Anybody get in trouble there?
we both got in trouble with our moms. Shaq mom and my mom were best friends. And before we got to the locker room, they were already blowing up our phone. And yeah, I used to get on my mom's case all the time because my mom and Shaq's mom, and there's another lady named Martha Corman. They were like three trips. We used to call them the Golden Girls. They would take like 25 vacations a year. And my mom would spend money like Shaq's mom. And Shaq made 12 times the money I made. I'd call and yell at my mom. I'd be like, Mom, why are y'all staying at the Ritz and the Four Seasons? Why can't y'all stay at a W or a Hotel 6? But they would always stay at these great hotels. I used to yell at my mom. That's the only time I yelled at my mom. She said, that's Mom, I didn't make Shaq's type money. Stay at a Motel 6 or a Westin or a Hyatt, somewhere like that. You don't have to stay at the Ritz-Carlton or the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
I used to laugh all the time. I said, Mom, Shaq make a lot more money than me.
Paulie, how many where's Charles on the technical list?
Okay, this list I think is pretty good. Top 5 with technical fouls. 5 is Rodman, Gary Payton with 250, Rasheed Wallace with 317, Charles Barkley with 329 technicals.
Hey, congratulations.
He just got beat out by the mailman with 332.
Karl Malone.
Yeah, I knew I had quite a few, but like I say, you say I got ejected like 15 times.
16 times, I think, yeah.
Yeah, 14 of those were deliberate, and twice I think the ref overreacted to me calling them names.
But why? I'm wondering why you want to get thrown out of a game.
You never want to get thrown out of a game.
But you just said you did it 14 times.
Well, sometimes the ref is just so bad, or the game's over. I think one thing that happens when guys are getting technicals, especially when you're a great player, you get a technical just to let them know, like, hey, I deserve some calls also. I think a lot, because, the guys you mentioned, Carl, like me and Carl was a hell of a player, a great player. Like sometimes you just want to get your opponent view across. So you want to get a technical, but you never really want to get tossed. But there's a couple times probably the game was over. We were getting our behind kicked. You're like, hey, you know what? Let me get in the damn shower quickly and get this thing over with. But you never really want to get tossed because you're going to hurt your team. Like sometimes, like, you see doing it. I'll give you an example, Dan. You see a lot of times where coaches, you can see they're deliberately trying to get technicals because the referee's like, you know what? I gave him a technical. Maybe I should give them some calls because refs, they're paying attention also. Remember when Phil Jackson used to whine all the time? He know the refs was watching TV or reading the newspaper. So it's a psychological game with the refs sometimes. Because some refs are cowards on the road. Like if you go to a hostile environment, they're intimidated by the home crowd. So you have to stand up for yourself. Because they hear everything the crowd's saying. You hear it also as a player. And some refs, we used to look around. We did not want certain refs on the road because they were intimidated.
Like who?
I'm not doing. Stop it, Dan.
Okay.
Okay, stop it.
I'm just being a journalist. How much do you celebrate winning the in-season tournament if you're the Lakers?
Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now?
They're going to raise a banner, Charles.
Are you serious right now?
Now, if you're the Pacers, I said you do a parade, you do a banner in the ceiling, any reason to celebrate. You do in-season rings for the Pacers if you win against the Lakers. But
Dan, let me tell you something. If the Pacers do an in-season parade, I'm going to Indy for that. Okay? No, we don't. It was a resounding success.
Yeah.
Everybody's really happy with the in-season tournament, but we're not raising banners. We're not doing parades.
They were doing champagne with goggles, Charles.
I'm so glad that I wasn't watching. I'm so glad that I wasn't watching Saturday night. If I saw them doing champagne for the in-season tournament, like I say, it was a resounding success. But if you don't do champagne for the in-season tournament, I'm glad I did not see that. I'm so really glad I didn't see that.
And then people on social media said, hey, Jordan never won an in-season tournament and LeBron has. And I went, he didn't play in an in-season tournament. But how important would an in-season tournament have been to Jordan?
Well, I think first of all, you just want to win the games. I don't think it would have been listen, I think it would have been a better story personally if the Pacers had won, because
Sure.
it was a really coming out party for Tyrese Halliburton. He was fabulous, unbelievable. He seemed like a great kid also. But the Lakers, they're the Lakers. There's two teams in the NBA that championship or bust matter to. The Lakers and the Celtics are the gold standard. You can throw the Bulls in there a little bit and the Spurs, but if you're the Lakers or the Celtics, only thing matter is the more championship. And listen, like I say, it was a great success, but the in-season tournament, the Lakers better not put up an in-season.
I think they are.
Listen, man, if they do that, I'm gonna roast their ass on TV. You know we're gonna have to talk about it. If they put that in-season tournament banner up, Dan, I'm gonna roast them on television.
By the way, the Bulls are doing a Ring of Honor, and that means they're inviting Phil and Mike and Scotty.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, first of all, the Bulls are an embarrassment to the NBA. I have zero idea what they're doing. They should have had a clearance sale like 3 years ago. I was like, dude, y'all stink, y'all stink, y'all stink. You got to start. I'm trying to figure out when they're going to start the rebuild. I was like, and were they waiting on Michael and the guys to die before they come up with the Ring of Honor? I mean, don't they have a statue out front? I think you'd rather have a statue than be in the Ring of Honor. No disrespect to being, because I'm in the Ring of Honor.
He's going to have both. He's going to have both. But can you imagine Scotty and Mike crossing paths at the Ring of Honor?
Hey, they're not going to do that on the same night.
They are. They are. They're inviting. Everybody is going to be there, and it's next month.
You know what? I gotta go. I gotta go.
You might not make it. You might make it awkward, even more awkward if you go.
No, I'm just gonna sit back in the corner and stare. Hey, I'm praying.
I think Golden State goes to Chicago in mid-January, so Steve Kerr will be there.
Please don't have it a night I gotta work, because I want to go there and be a fly on the wall.
Paulie, check and see. I think it's like January 12th that Golden State goes to Chicago, Ring of Honor, Rodman, Phil Jackson, Mike, Scotty, maybe.
They shouldn't do it on the same night, because that's the only way they're going to get a crowd is on a Ring of Honor night. They should spread it out. They're putting all those guys in there the same night?
I think so. Yeah, Paulie.
Yeah, halftime on January 12th confirmed at the Bulls game. And bonus coverage, Charles. The Lakers will unveil the NBA in-season tournament banner to be hung on December 18th.
Yes!
Oh, my God. Wait, what night of the week is the Bulls thing?
What is the January 12th?
Friday
night.
I can be there. I can be there.
Maybe you go with Michael Jordan's son.
Dan, I'm telling you something. I'm going to have to go to Chicago that day just to see it. I mean, you talk about weirdest, uncomfortable. That uncomfortable won't do it justice. I mean, people, first of all, nobody's going to watch the Warriors or the Bulls. Okay, let's get that out the way. Nobody's going to see the Warriors against the Bulls. But everybody's going to have their camera focused on those guys. I can't wait.
People are going to show up right at the end of the second quarter.
That's exactly right. They're going to go and get all liquored up the first half, and they're going to leave right after halftime.
Yes, just like you would.
There's no reason to watch the Bulls against the Warriors at all.
Thanks for getting up for us.
Oh, no problem, brother.
Are we going to see you in Vegas at the Super Bowl?
Dan,
what? I'm
really having a hard time with that decision. Because, me and my boys, I take about 12 of my boys. We've been to Vegas 26 straight years for the Super Bowl.
Oh, I know. You blew us off in Arizona. We were supposed to go to your crib. we're going to Vegas. We're going to be there. Now you're saying you don't want to go to Vegas?
Well, it's going to be so crowded and so many people. So I think I'm going to have all 12, 13 guys come to my house and stay at my house.
Oh, so now you're going to be at your house.
Well, because, Dan, we've been to Vegas 26 straight years. Vegas is the best place in the world to watch the Super Bowl and have fun for the weekend and play golf and everything. But now all these losers are going to be there for the Super Bowl. So we're going to put it to a vote, me and the 12 guys I've been with all these years. Right now, it's coming to Scottsdale, all staying at my house. It's in the Clubhouse League.
Well, you pay for everything, so you should be the only guy voting.
Well, we don't know if I pay for stuff until after the gambling is settled, Dan. You get everything free in Vegas until after the weekend.
Yes.
So we don't know if I got to pay for everything yet.
Great to talk to you, and good luck with King Charles.
All right, brother. Hey, man, I appreciate you. You guys be safe. And, hey, happy holidays.
You too.
Oh, hey, and happy Hanukkah, too.
Oh, for Todd. Yeah. Happy
Really, it was more for my son-in-law. Screw Todd.
Very nice.
All right.
Happy Hanukkah, guys. Merry Christmas.
All right. That's Charles Barkley. King Charles with Gayle King tonight at 10 Eastern on CNN.